Welcome back to another Fabric Tip Friday. Today I want to try to add just a touch of clarity to the new guys that are into covering, and maybe some good info for some of the guys that's been doing it. I want to start off, like I said before, I get these ideas of what happens through the week, and I talk to two or three guys that I hear it a lot here. They throw the term out, stits or superflight or whatever. Well, you know, if you said superflight, we know that is a system, or Airtech. Consolidated owns several covering techniques, Randolph, different ones, but people who use the term stits, or that must be polyfiber when they call me, or trying to match something. And you know, I have to go a little further. Do they mean Randolph? Do they mean polyfibers? Which actually one are they talking about? Are they talking about a dope, a polytone, a ranthane, aerothane, stits? All of those are under consolidated. And Superflight, you know, they have their technique. Our system, Airtech, that's our own STC. I had a brochure, but I think someone borrowed it or looked at something, but there's a thing of glue, the water-based system, Stewart system, they have their system. There's just a little confusion on this end because they are the large company that owns several processes. But what I want to touch base on today is one thing in common with all of these is the fabric that we use. When Mac Hogan, that started Airtech back in 1981, did not go to the process of recertifying the same product that everybody uses. So in the process, we made it to where we're legal to go on top of a certified fabric. So what is a certified fabric? Well, consolidated, you have polyfiber fabric, and you have synconite fabric. That's another name that people throw around, is synconite. Well, the next guy will say, well, it's all a Dacron. Well, that's a generic name too. That's actually a trademark name of what the material is. I think the proper calling for it is like a polyethylene terephthalate, or I can't even pronounce the last part of it. But what it is with polyfiber or consolidated, now in their process, if you do a polyfiber, to be legal, you have to use their fabric that's stamped polyfiber. If you do the old synconite process with dope, you have to use their fabric that has synconite stamped on it. When it trades over to us, we are certified to go on top of any certified fabric, which means I normally sell synconite here because it's just an easy name. If I told someone I'm going to sell them some polyfiber fabric, they may get all up in the air, and it's the same thing, it's just certified different. Also, Superflight has certification on their fabric. It's basically the same fabric, but it's Superflight. Within Polyfibers company, you have to be fabric specific of what you're using. On Airtech, you can use Superflight, you can use synconite, you can use polyfiber. Superflight has their process, but their own fabric. We're illegal to go on Superflights. I think Andy's process, he has all the fabrics listed under his that he can go, you know, on top of each one of them. So if there was to be a new fabric come along, all I would have to do is prove that it's certified and add it to my drawing list. These other companies, I'm sure, do the same thing. So that's just, hopefully, just a little bit of a clarity. If you looked on the inside of a fuselage and started trying to figure out what something was covered with, number one, if you're having to do that, the mechanic did not do his job. He should put in what process, what revision, what manual he used, the STC, paint code numbers. I see it every day that they'll call me and they'll say, well, the logbook says used Airtech process, and that's all it says. And they'll go searching and they'll look on the inside and they'll see inside of a stamp that says Synconite. Well, it must be Synconite process. No. Or if they seen Superflight, well, this must be Superflight, and it may actually be Airtech. So when you do your logbook, whether it's a certified plane or an experimental, like if you're going to use Airtech, say I used Airtech process using Synconite fabric as per their manual, or if you have Superflight fabric, say I used Airtech process as per their manual using Superflight fabric. And that just clears it up for someone down the line. I'll talk more of these as I go along on different things, but just it's kind of a what is in a name, you might say. People throw around a lot of names, and it's really a lot of the same thing, but when you get in the legal terms of it, sometimes it has to be separated out. Thank you.